I think one of the greatest things about what I have gotten to do for the last 17 years, I've been doing this for 17 years. I've been doing this. It's not like we just started yesterday, okay? And one of the greatest parts of what I get to do is recognize people for growing. Like you see all these people coming up on stage. They're not all millionaires yet. You know, I love it when when I was growing up in the business and my relatives, they'd always say, "Are you a millionaire? You make $1 million yet?" You know? And they don't ask me that no more. All right? And so, but I love the fact that, see, this is the process right here, Eric. This is how you grow. If you can get up here every week, Eric, I guarantee you will grow a team. And by the way, the Godinez Base Shop, all right, Robert and Martha, they are number 10 in the world right now. Are number 18 in the world right now. Right now, and I love that I get to be a part of this because this is how you build leaders. This is how leaders emerge. Is, you show up to a meeting and you're like, you don't believe crap, right? Like that little kid right there, he's like, I don't believe nothing, I don't believe nothing, right? And so, the first thought is it's all bullshit, right? I mean, that's your first thought process. And then you start, and then you give it, you're like, I'll just give it a try and see what happens. And then so you try, and then all of a sudden you start figuring out, well, hey, it kind of makes sense. You mean I can make that much money? Wow, that's pretty cool. Wow, I can do that for a family? Right, Maricela? I mean, is it pretty awesome? Have you guys helped a lot of families this last couple of weeks? It's a big deal, right? It's a big deal. A lot of these families, they're going to be better off financially in their life because Maricela had the guts to say, hey, how did you set up an appointment, Maricela? You said, hey, I'm coming over, right? Is that pretty much what you said, right?
I call them. I call people that I like me, and I tell them, you know what? I'm starting a new business. I need your help.
And I need
an appointment.
And I'm coming over, and that's it, right? So, but think about it. If you didn't have the guts to go do that, then those people, long range, they're going to be worse off financially. Because most people don't get up in the morning and say, okay, today I'm going to get my financial education today. How many of you did that? Honestly. Not many of you did that, right? Somebody came to yourself and said, they went like this. Hello, how come you're not saving any money? How come you have that kind of life insurance? How come you're in debt? I can do this. If you did this, you might be able to do it quicker. Hello, wake up. And that's a part of what we do. That's a part of our job. And so if you get excited about that, if you can get excited about the fact that you could change somebody's life, just get ready. And let me read you something real quick. This is the Roaring 2000. It says, I just want to introduce a simple principle that should change your outlook on the future. As complex as our economy is in its day-to-day workings over the long term, it is remarkably predictable. You guys understand? I mean, winning in business and making a lot of money and being financially successful, Brian, is very, very predictable. Okay, very predictable. Okay, so it is predictable for one simple reason. Our economy is driven by the family spending cycles of each new generation of consumers and workers. Isn't it really? Right? If you have a lot of people, like for example, why is it, right, the Home Depot stock is going up right now? Okay, Home Depot stock is doing really well right now. Why do you think that is? It's because people are buying homes again. You follow me? If people are buying homes and they want to fix their homes up, where do they go? To Home Depot. So isn't that kind of predictable? So you look at the spending cycles of the economy and you'll figure out that it's very, very predictable. It's not scary and it's not complicated. You just got to understand it. It's that simple. In the short term, there are many factors that affect our economy. Interest rates rise and fall, trade deficits expand and contract, the yen gets stronger, the dollar gets stronger, affecting the competitiveness of multinational companies in foreign markets. One fundamental factor that drives the boom and bust cycles of our economy over time in a predictable manner isn't a matter of politics, interest rates, trade deficits, or strength of the dollar. It is, and I bet you most of you in this room have never thought about it this way. It is pure and simple consumption. It's consumption. So how the average family spends money in predictable patterns over time. As a result, you and I can see the direction of our economy and the stock market over the next 5 decades with one simple indicator that plays on our own predictable spending habits. So if you understand that everything, the stock market, the way that you become successful. So think about it, right? 17 years ago, Brian, I could have went and got a job. Okay? 17 years ago, I could have said, you know what? I'm going to have a job. I'm going to go work for a company and try to move up the corporate ladder. That's what I'm going to go try to do. You know, right? I mean, my goal when I was younger is I wanted to retire by the time I was 30 years old. That was my goal in life. I dreamt about that. I thought about that. That's everything that I want. I wanted to be financially independent. I wanted to be retired. I didn't want anyone to ever be able to put their thumb on me. So I'm 21 years old, and I'm thinking like this, and all of a sudden, I come to a Primerica meeting. I sit in a meeting just like this, 17 years ago, and I see it. So I could have got a job. Now, if I would have been at a job right now, let's just call it, maybe I'd be making $40,000, $50,000 a year right now. Okay, versus making $70,000 a month. Okay, what's better, $50,000 a year or $70,000 a month? Just making sure y'all are paying attention. Okay, so this is how you got to think about this. All right, the choices that you make are going to determine your future. So the choice for you being here tonight and getting some financial education, you're going to leave here tonight and say, okay, no matter what happens, you're going to go ask your grandma for $50, right? Are you all going to ask your grandma for $50?
Yes.
I'm going to go home and ask my grandma for $50, all right? So I'm starting another mutual. Every single one of you has got to go start a mutual fund, right? That's one simple little thing that you can do today that could totally impact the rest of your life. Because if the earlier you start saving, the better you're going to be off, right or wrong? Did we learn that tonight?
Yes.
Right? When you start young, then you have more doubling periods in your life, which, you let that compound interest thing work for you. And then now some of you are over 50 or 60, right? I don't know. Your ass better get to work fast, right? So you gotta figure out a way, okay? I mean, really, you gotta figure out a way to make sure that your money is working very hard for you, number one, but also you gotta figure out a way to make more money. Now, at 21 years old, I wasn't very smart. I mean, I came in this business, a buddy of mine recruited me into Primerica. That's how I got started. I mean, I was recruited just like a lot of you in this room. Somebody asked you to come to this meeting. Now, when I saw the meeting, the only thing I kept thinking is that it was too good to be true. Now, my dad was he has a college degree. He was a USC graduate. He was actually student of the year USC. He had an MBA. A master's of business. He was actually, and so pretty educated guy, would you say?
Yes.
And so I looked at that, and that was to me the direction that I was going to go. I was actually going to Citrus College, and then I went to Mount San College in Hemet, that really prestigious school out there, and I went to because of baseball, and I started playing baseball. I played for one season, hurt my knee really, really bad. Actually, in my my class officiating basketball, that was the kind of classes that I used to take back then. And so that class, we were playing basketball. I went up for a layup and I came back down. Messed up my knee. I wasn't able to play baseball for several years. And so that situation put me like kind of at a crossroads in my life. I just wanted to play baseball. I was an athlete my entire life. I was playing baseball since I was, since I was born. Since I could pick up a baseball bat, I was hitting something, you know what I mean? And so my whole entire life, I just wanted to play sports. And then all of a sudden, I couldn't do that anymore. And that was devastating to me. That was like, and what was most devastating about it is I was at a job where there was no competition. I was at a job where you couldn't compete. I was sitting there every day with no excitement, with no motivation. Why do we play sports when we're kids? Why? It's because we want to win. We want to be something. We want to be engaged in something that's fun, that's exciting. That you could actually achieve something. Because think about it. We do it for free, Raymond. You ever play sports? Right? How much does it pay you to play sports? Nothing. Isn't that kind of crazy? What a bunch of dumb people we are, right? Think about it, right? How many millions of people on Sunday afternoon, they go play basketball, they go play football, they go play baseball, they go play whatever, right? You hear about all these leagues that are going on. They're playing all this stuff, and it's for free. But why is that? I'm reading a really good book. It's about willpower. And I don't have the author, but it's called Willpower or something like that. And it talks about how the human brain works. Every one of us wants some sort of reward. Every one of us is trying to achieve something. And what happens is that we're the reason why a lot of people get depressed is because there's nothing to be achieved anymore. So they become depressed. They had a guy that he was I guess he was dealing drugs or something, and he was going to get caught by police. They raided his house, so he took all the drugs. Right, that was pretty smart. He took all the drugs, so of course he wouldn't get caught. Right, that was stupid. Right, so he almost died. All right, he almost died. And so what happened was something happened when he took all the drugs. Something happened in his brain where part of his brain is now missing. Well, that piece of his brain that's missing is that part of the brain that wants reward, that wants to achieve something. So although they thought it was miraculous because he stopped doing drugs immediately. He didn't even want to do drugs anymore. He was cured. Literally, after this incident, he was cured from drugs. But he was actually cured from everything. Because he didn't want to do anything. He literally was just like, he got up every day and there was no want to achieve. There was no reward system. There was no excitement in his life. So he became depressed, didn't want to live anymore. So you think about it, all those people driving on the freeway every day, right, pissed off, telling everybody they're number one, right, all that stuff. And so those people, the reason why they're depressed, and you see this a lot. Look, when you turn 30 or 40, you've been in your job for 10 years, 15 years, somebody told me the other day, they're like, I just determined that, this is not my calling in life. And I said, wait a minute, you haven't even tried it yet. You've been in the business a week and it's not your calling. What are you talking about? Try it and let's see if it's your calling or not. You know what I mean? And so what happens is that we're excited about some things, especially because we've been programmed all of our life. The truth is, all of us are like, we're programmed by the TV, we're programmed by our parents, we're programmed by, our mentors and people in our life. And a lot of times when we grow up in certain neighborhoods, we're taught one thing. And we're taught to go to school, right? Work there for 40 years, have a good job, move up the corporate ladder, and then retire for a few years. And that's kind of that's the system that we've known. That's why 95% of people are going to be broke at retirement. Because what happens is at about 45, 50, 55 years old, they're going to kind of start looking at you differently than they looked at you when you were 27 years old or 25 or 30 years old. Because you don't move as fast anymore. So what happens is that, say you're 50 or 55 years old, they can hire 2 people for the price of 1. So you're excited. You give your whole life to this company, and then they can you. Anybody ever heard of anybody getting laid off or fired or anything like that? Yeah. Right? Absolutely. I mean, there's millions. Well, I just recruited a new recruiter. Her name's Gabby, and she works for the unemployment office. So you think she meets any unemployed people from getting fired or laid off? Like every day. I said, so are you guys busy or are you guys not really that busy? Oh no, we're busy. Every day we're busy. And so it never is going to stop. So if you want to give your life to something that probably is not going to pan out, I mean, realistically, now it might pan out for the next 10 years. It might pan out for the next 15. But you have no guarantee that it's going to take care of you for your life. So you've got to be careful what you choose and the directions and the paths that you take in your life. Am I making any sense? Yes. All right. So I chose Primerica, and I chose Primerica primarily because I wanted to be a part of an environment that, number one, was fun. I wanted to have fun. You know, I'm sitting back there, I'm listening to you, Kenny, in my office, and I was listening. You did an amazing job tonight. And I'm listening, and I'm thinking, man, how lucky am I, man? Because I enjoyed that. I enjoyed listening to you. I enjoyed that education. I enjoyed, even though I've heard those concepts a million times, it was just the way you spun it a little bit differently and just gave your angles, a couple little, funny things that you talked about, and it was entertaining. It was fun to me. And I'm thinking, I love that. I love the fact that I get to spend the rest of my life having fun. I get to do this for the rest of my life. I mean, seriously. In a lot of jobs, you know why people die early? It's because they retire. Now, I told you that I wanted to retire at 30. All right? Now, and I achieved that. Technically, I achieved that. I was financially independent, 28, 29 years old. We'd already saved $1 million. We were set. But the truth is, I didn't want to retire at 30 because I heard that when you retire, you die. And I don't want to die, all right? So I changed my goals real fast when I figured that one out, all right? I'm like, I'll retire when I'm 90, all right, or 120, right? And so I kind of get excited that I get to spend the rest of my life building a business. I get to spend the rest of my life helping others trying to achieve something great. So the truth is, I'll never, ever, ever be a depressed person because I'm always trying to find other people to help push them up. So you know why people get depressed? It's because they're only thinking about themselves all the time. They're constantly thinking about what's in it for them. And when you take your mind off of yourself and you start thinking, how can I make somebody else's life better? Then everything changes. I'm telling you. Look, do we want to help you build an awesome Primerica business? Absolutely. I want to help you become multi-millionaires here, okay? But you know what I want more than that? Is I want to see you have a great life. They just showed the trip. You know how many times you've been to Hawaii on Primerica? I mean, I was just talking to my new recruit, Gabby, and she's like, I've never been to Hawaii. I mean, we're the same age. I've never been to Hawaii. There's a lot of people that have never been to Hawaii. I mean, it's like one of the places that everybody's got to go to Hawaii. You know what I mean? But it's way better when it's free.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, when Primerica pays for everything, you get up in the morning, they got breakfast for you. You go, right? Dinner. They got the full-on dinner. They got those Hawaiian dancers throwing fire in the air and stuff. They got all that stuff. And it's all free. And Primerica pays for that. And so they didn't just do it once. You know what my mom, seriously, my mom worked for Vaughn's for 25, 30 years, something like that. And every year at Thanksgiving time, she would get a bonus. You know what her bonus was?
Turkey.
It was a turkey. Are you kidding me? I give you 30 years of my life, you're going to be a freaking turkey. Yeah. My bonus this month, I think was $36,000 or $37,000. Every month. Brian, that's every single month. That's not like, hey, after 30 years, good job, guys, right? That's every month we get bonuses like that. So to me, joining Primerica, being a part of Primerica, to me, is kind of like a no-brainer. I think everybody should do Primerica. I mean, I'll give you a couple of other reasons. I mean, the tax benefits are phenomenal. You know, some people say, you know what, Daniel, I don't think I can do it. You know, some people make a big mistake. You know, what they think is they watch me and they say, I can never do what he's doing. And that's okay. If you feel that you can't do what I'm doing right now, that's okay. You know why? It's because you haven't been here for 17 years, so I wouldn't expect you to do it like me. You got to put things in perspective. Don't look at the people that you see up on stage and say, well, I can't, if you don't, well, you ain't worth $1 million yet. You guys realize that? You right now, based on your knowledge, based on your experience, based on what you know, who you know, how you know, you're not worth $1 million yet. Doesn't mean you're not gonna be though. If you start hanging around with the right people, start hanging around some successful people, I think you could probably get yourself in a pretty good situation. What do you think?
Yeah.
So you got to ask yourself every day when you get up in the morning. You got to say, look, if I want more success in my life, I got to go hang with some successful people. So I'm going to kind of close out tonight, and I want to read you something, okay, that I think is pretty powerful, right? I want you to be reminded that success is not an accident. Every one of you, raise your hand if you want to be successful.
Oh, yeah.
If you want to be successful. Every single one of you wants, even her, that little girl right there, she even raised her hand. I love that, man. I love that. All right, so what you got to do, okay, is you got to develop a meaningful definition of success. Success in life comes from one thing, deciding exactly what you want to accomplish, and then deliberately choosing to invest the minutes and hours of your life doing only those things that move you in the direction of your goals. It's simple. It's the truth. And the moment you fully accept it, your life and the lives of those you love will never again be the same. Success, however you choose to define it, is absolutely predictable. Isn't that kind of cool?
Yeah.
Stock market's predictable. Success is predictable. Every single one of you guys got to realize that success in life is predictable. I can tell you who's going to be successful and who's not going to be successful in life. And there's only a couple of things I got to look at. Who are they hanging around, and what are they doing for work? If they're hanging around a bunch of losers, you think they're going to become a winner and a champion? I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it. It's very, very difficult to become successful. Look, if you look at the average income of the 5 closest people to you in your life, that you're the average. Your income is the average of those 5 people. So think about it. So we say, hey, show up to a Primerica meeting. Show up on Saturday training. Hang around us when we do a new recruit night or something like that. What are we trying to do? We're trying to get you to hang around us so we can help you get your averages up a little bit. Are you with me? You want to get your average up, huh? You want to get your income up? Okay, then hang out with people that are more richer than you, okay? Get clear on success. Specifically, what does that mean to you? If you don't have a clear picture of success, how can you honestly pursue it or expect to achieve it? The most successful people in the world are those who have taken the time to figure out exactly who they want to become and what they want to achieve, and then invest the hours of their days in activities consistent with those ideals. So once I decided I wanted to win in Primerica, I spent every day trying to achieve that goal. Right now, did I really want to show up on Saturday morning? Honestly, did I want to be here for training? Absolutely not. Who wants to get up at 8 o'clock in the morning, be at training? Nobody wants to do that. But I said, if I do things differently than everybody else, I will get a different result. If I'm like everyone else, I'll get what everybody else gets. Are you following me? Okay, very, very important. So then read. Success is a planned outcome, not an accident. Success and failure are both absolutely predictable because they follow the natural law of sowing and reaping. Simply stated, if you want to reap more rewards, you must sow more service, contribution, and value. So how do you become successful in America? You produce the most value and the most service to people, and then you'll reap the most. Why did Steve Jobs become a billionaire? Why? Because he gave us the iPad, and he gave us the computer, and he gave us all this stuff. So that's why he gave us so much dang value. He gave us so much service that it was impossible for him not to become successful. So you guys complain about gas prices every day. How many? I mean, seriously, you complain about gas prices. Yeah, I hate paying gas prices. Don't complain about gas prices anymore. Because the more you complain, the more you get of that. Okay? The more you talk about the thing that you don't want, the more you get the thing that you don't want. You guys, I'm not getting too deep for you here. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? So right? You keep talking about, right? So what? How does that solution get solved?
Change.
Go make more money. Go make more money. If you made an extra $1,000 a month in Primerica, would you ever have to worry about gas prices again? No. You'd never have to.
Nope.
If all you did was took half of that $1,000 and invested it into a mutual fund, how much would we have, Kenny, at the end, right? 20 years from now, right? A whole bunch of money we would have. We would be very financial. Do you understand Primerica has millionaires? Primerica has produced more millionaires, more financially independent people than any other company in the world. Do you guys know that?
That's a fact.
You know why? You know why? You know why that is? It's because we have 100,000 agents. There are thousands and thousands of those agents that today are multi-millionaires, not because they're making $1 million a year with Primerica. It's because they took the financial concepts, right, and they took that information and they applied it to their own lives. And because they applied that information, they became very, very successful. Okay? If you want to know what you've sowed in the past, look around you and see what you're reaping today. So if you're not reaping a lot of rewards right now, look around yourself and say, what have I not done? Okay? And then start adding more value to people's lives. Start asking yourself, how much value am I giving the world? Or am I only thinking about myself and my family and what do we got? Take your focus off yourself and start focusing on giving more value to the world and watch what happens. I mean, let me tell you, Tony and Paula Harold are a perfect example of this. I mean, they're amazing, amazing leaders in our company. But look, they just did a $600,000 rollover with a client, right? Because you know why? They give free classes at their church on financial education. Now, the first class that they did, did they make millions doing that class? No. Right? They did class after class after class after class after class, and they made a little bit here, a little bit there, and they did a little bit here, helped a little bit there, and all of a sudden now, people know how much value they're giving. And they didn't quit. They didn't give up. So people now know when they think of money and financial services and stuff, who do they think of? They think of Tony and Paula. So the next thing you know, so now they've built a brand name around themselves with all the people that they're around. So everybody knows to ask them about money. So when somebody comes up with a bunch of money or they retire or something like that, they go immediately to Tony and Paula. What can you do? Because they added so much value in service. So most people think, oh, you guys are lucky. No, they're not lucky. No. They have sowed that. Now they're reaping. Now they're reaping the rewards of their service and what they've sowed. Everything counts. Everything you do or fail to do counts. Every action has a consequence, even if it isn't immediate. At this moment, you're becoming more like the person you want to become, or you are not. Okay? There is no neutrality. What you do Friday counts just as what you do on Sunday morning or Thursday afternoon counts. An extraordinary life is simply the accumulations of thousands of efforts, often unseen by others, that lead to the accomplishment of worthwhile goals. You are rich with choice, and your choices reveal who you really are. More than any other single factor, you are where you are today because of choices you have made. You have made choices about what to learn and what not to learn. Some people didn't show up tonight. They made a choice. Look, I had a person kind of cancel an appointment with me this afternoon. And it was a choice. It was a deliberate choice not to learn. He will probably live with that choice forever. Probably one of the most devastating choices that he'll ever make in his life, because the information that I was going to give him, do you realize what I know today after 17 years of learning and training and getting better. Do you understand the impact that I could have made on that guy's life today? But that choice was his choice. Are you with me?
Yes.
Some of you may decide not to get started with Primerica. If you decide not to get started with Primerica, I think it'll be the single most biggest mistake that you make in your life. And the reason why I say that is because there's so many reasons to say yes. You know, the financial education alone, the leadership skills, the communication skills, the tax benefits. It's endless. There's so much good. The environment. Being around a bunch of successful, motivated, positive people. How could that hurt you in your life? Rather than being around a bunch of negative, pissed off, complaining people at your job. You know who I'm talking about, right? All right. Okay? And the last thing is, what's your excuse? Ask yourself this question. What is my excuse? What does this question mean to you? Does it remind you of excuses you have told others, excuses you've heard, or excuses you have told yourself? While we are making excuses, others are making progress. While you procrastinate, somebody else is getting out of bed and getting to work.
That's right.
While you're putting it off for tomorrow, the things that you should be doing today, somebody else is actually working today. Somebody actually is building something. You know, I'm so proud of Jose Daniels, man. This guy's a total stud. He sent me his list of all of his prospects and all the people he's working on. It's like 115 people on that list, man. I mean, you understand, you keep doing what you're doing and you follow up on all that, your business is going to totally explode, man. Referrals from clients and all that kind of stuff, it's just expanding, and you just work that and don't stop, you're going to do some big things. Excuses should be laughed at and not dignified as they often are today. We make up an excuse why we can't do something, and everybody says, it's okay, don't worry about it. It's okay, don't worry, you know, but really, is it okay? Is it really okay that you keep making excuses? Look, I love my pop. I have two dads. I have my stepfather that I talked about, the USC graduate, and I got my father, my biological father, that he was a construction worker. And I love them both equally, don't get me wrong. But my pop has made some bad mistakes in his life. A lot of excuses, a lot of bad choices, a lot of procrastination, a lot of putting it off tomorrow, what he should have done today. And today, he's over 60 years old and not where he wants to be. If he would have just hung around here, he was one of my first recruits, by the way, too. If he would have just hung around here and not quit, who knows where his life could be today. It's so sad to think about that. Excuses and responsibility cannot coexist. If you have one, you can't have the other. Each time you make an excuse, you reinforce your propensity to make even more excuses in the future, and excuse making becomes a habit. Commit to making your homes and offices excuse-free zones. If a situation arises that previously called for an excuse, substitute the words, I am responsible, where the excuse used to go. Excuses are contagious, self-defeating bad habits. Where you find one person making an excuse, you'll find others infected with excuses as well. You don't like to hear excuses from other people, and they don't like to hear yours either. Stop excuses before they start creating an environment that is conducive to success. The antidote to life of comfort and mediocrity is a life of character and courage. You can live a life of action and character by shifting your thinking from short-term to long-term. This means you must consider the long-term ramifications of every action you take or don't take. Ask, if this action were to turn into a habit for me, would that be my best long-term interest? If the answer is no, don't do it. If the answer is yes, then I suggest you do it now. Hey guys, I just want to let you know that this is our moment, this is our time. This is a very, very exciting time in history. Right? You saw Kenny's, I thought that was just a wonderful illustration of how much money is out there. And this would be a transfer of like $10 trillion over the next 10 or 20 years. It's unbelievable. I mean, you understand, those baby boomers are going to retire, right? Some of them are going to die, and that there's going to be a massive wealth transfer. If you understand money, and we're going to teach you that, by the way. If you don't understand money right now, don't worry about it. We'll teach you that crap, all right? If you just hang around, we will teach you this stuff. And if all you did was stand between the client and the institutions that are going to invest that money, if you can just stand in the middle and just capture some of those trillions of dollars, okay, it could be incredibly life-changing for you. I just want to let you know that I feel privileged, I feel excited that I get to be a part of a team like ours. I mean, I want to say, first of all, that our leaders, you guys are so dang accountable, man, I can't even tell you. Our accountability right now is unfreaking believable right now, Kenny. I mean, our guys are so focused right now. We will promote out 5 regional vice presidents before this year is over. That's how serious this thing is right now. That's how many serious people we have. Now, an average regional vice president is going to make $126,000 a year. That's company-wide. Realistically, in California-wide, I would say closer to $200,000 or $250,000. So if you're a regional vice president, get ready to make a couple $100,000 a year. It's just a matter of time. We will help you build a business that will create so much massive passive income, it'll knock your socks off. Just think about it this way, guys. If you had an organization of 100 or 200 people working with you, okay, that's passive income of $200,000 or $300,000 in income. Passive income. That's without you getting out of bed. Now, anybody like passive income? Anybody want passive income? All right, that's money that you make without you having to work. And I'm telling you, last year we were paid $917,000 with Primerica, and 99% of that income was passive income for me. Mm-hmm. And I just want to let you guys know that I am committed to helping you do the same. If you're motivated, if you're committed, I will help you. If you're lazy and undisciplined, I can't help you. Okay? But if you're motivated and you want to change your life and you have the courage to not quit, step up to the plate and learn new things and just get better, your life is going to be absolutely phenomenal. Thank you guys so much.